5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
So for Jeremy, never confuse chamois butter with a goo packet.
You ate a lot of glue as a child, didn't you?
Welcome now to the Crank Revolution podcast, your source for cycling shenanigans. Listen now to our hosts, the purveyors of pedals, as we teach you more about cycling every single episode. So sit right back, pop a cold one, and enjoy our show.
No, welcome back to the Crank Revolution podcast. If you didn't catch episode 1, we are a podcast for people who love bicycles. Everything about them. Yeah. Love cycling, exercising. Don't care if you love spin class. Still listen. We're kind of fun. All right, anyway, what we're going to say.
So for Jeremy, never confuse chamois butter with a goo packet.
Yes. Ooh. Okay, so for people that don't know, chamois butter.
Why are the bees attacking?
No, we should back up because I want to make sure we're
chasing my
Last
ass.
week was to get to know us. Now I want to make sure we're being somewhat educational along the way. So what is chamois butter? Well, sometimes I feel like I'm about to teach sex ed. When a man
effectively that.
starts sweating,
No,
chafing.
That's not just men.
Well, because
Anybody who's in contact with a chamois that's absorbing sweat is probably going to want to put something to help smooth that out
because they have chamois butter for her that's pH balanced and actually contains lavender.
Yeah.
But
for those for female and female identified. Yeah.
Chamois butter, everyone's experienced it. I mean, I know I did when I was heavier, but I think everyone does too, is you get a lot of sweat, you get a lot of rubbing, you're going to get a lot of painful chafing. Chamois butter is a wonderful product. You can slide up into those areas. Now, someone once asked me recently, am I supposed to wear underwear with those cycling shorts? No. That is the worst possible way to chafe. But rubbing
That's only going to increase friction.
Well, not. Let's check this though. Do you apply your chamois butter, and I'll get to the story, directly to your leg, nether parts of all people, or do you rub it on the actual chamois itself?
When I apply chamois butter, which is rare, it's to myself.
He's just so naturally majestic. I don't chafe ever.
I doubt.
Yeah. What is it? Your thigh gap, or what causes that? No chafing.
I don't know. I've been riding for 10 years and at like 6,000 miles a year.
He produces natural chamois butter.
No, he's just natural callus.
He's got a chamois butter just organ that just excretes it. No, at this point, your skin is just so callous down there that
don't have any feeling down there.
It's like the bottom of like a hobbit's foot.
But chamois butter can be great out there. I've seen people who stop riding because of saddles, and you can definitely fix that with a good pair of shorts, or at least get to the right part. But then chamois butter itself is an awesome way to cut down on that friction. So I made the mistake. I carried one with me extra in the back of my jersey.
In a nice little tear-off single use.
Yeah, it looks just like a nice little goo packet. Yeah. So I reached back, ripped it off, shoved it in my mouth, squirted it, and went, this doesn't feel right.
Did you at least have a menthol one?
No.
He's like, why does everything smell like chocolate suddenly?
No, but I did. And once you kind of... You're not sure at first. You kind of feel it's hard and clumpier and creamy. And then you kind of bite a little bit on it, and you're like, this isn't right. And then you try to spit it out. The best part is, though, I did not have any friction in my mouth whatsoever. So don't keep your chamois bottom and butt products in the same jersey pocket as your goos. That is a great starter thing there for people. But before we continue with today's show, we want to go to our non-sponsor sponsor.
You've built your first bike, you made the wheels, you chose the group set. Everything is exactly the way you wanted it to be. But you left it on your roof when you went to get your morning coffee on your way to your group ride. Insurance.
I like how he tried to say, I could just bleep it. I might just leave it in there because you naturally just could not enunciate the word.
Well, we had like 6 different recordings of that one.
No, you're a one-take man. Everyone has to believe that.
Yeah, so I know, and I had 6 different one takes.
So since just slap the mic, that's great radio stuff there. But no, so just real quick,
you just slammed your head under the table during the ad.
Listen, it happens. It just happens. But no, bike insurance, it is a real thing. That's not a real company. But so basically, this is now like the conglomeration of all of our flights of fancy.
Well, yeah,
it would still be better written than Game of Thrones.
No, we're not.
We're under the banner of Crank Revolution, but we got lots of little subsections of our corporation. We have tires, we have insurance, we're gonna have a bike shop.
I don't have
bike shop's actually real.
Yeah, I like when he corrects you.
I look forward to the next board meeting, Chris.
But no, Wow. Now where the hell are we? So, chamois butter. That's where we were. That is a great way.
It goes
for
in your butt,
beginners.
not in your
It goes
mouth.
on your butt, in between, not in your mouth. Yes, that's the best place not to keep it. Beginners, what are some of the things? Say you just got into cycling. For more experienced people there, we're going to start calling in and having some people tell stories of how they got started. Anyhow, where were we? Chamois. But so, what else is good for a beginner cyclist? Like, if your butt hurts, there's one or two things in my mind that's getting you there, and this could be for experienced riders too. And that's going to be either saddle height is a huge one because every person I see cycling, their damn seat is too low. And you can't just pull over and yell at them out from your car because it's kind of like a road rage scary moment.
You're not
I always-
helping
I
anyone by
do.
yelling at them.
It's not that their butt is bouncing; it's that they're twerking on their bike. They usually have headphones.
Twerking?
In. Yeah, they're just you know,
Working on their bike?
yeah,
You mean they're like hip popping or swaying or
popping and locking and whatever the cool kids do.
the cool kids? Who are the cool kids? Matt Damon is.
What happened to being helpful
To who?
to beginner
Anything.
cyclists? As in, like, yeah, we went to twerking, which
Yeah, why did you
Why
go
did we
there,
go
Greg? Damn you.
I think we were always supposed to go with. Yeah, so like in terms of like
saddle too low.
most people that I see in the world, like their saddle is too low, and that's
That's
people
judgmental.
Why is that judgmental? No,
You
it's
said
it's
everyone in the world, their saddle's too low.
I
so
did not say. I said
a
most
therapy
people
session.
that I see, saddle is too low. And so, yeah, for by and large, yeah, the best thing to do if you're having discomfort while riding your bike is to have someone who is, like myself, a trained bicycle mechanic or trained bicycle fitter, take a look at your position on your bike. Because there's a lot that we can do. So just this last week, we were out on a group ride. We had one of our riders who was complaining about knee pain. And so I rode behind him for about 5 minutes, was taking a look at his position, and noticed that his right knee was knocking more than his left in terms of like as it's moving through his pedaling stroke, it was moving further out than the other one. So I took a look at his cleats, and they were about a 1/4 inch off in terms of the equal cleat position.
Which one of you guys sold him those shoes and cleats?
Don't look at me.
No, I'm out.
Probably.
It's probably you, yeah.
Hey, shut up.
Hey, wait. But he had matching cleats, right?
They
you
were the
moved
same
up.
cleat,
Well
yeah.
done, Jeremy.
I started him on a Keo, and the other side was Shimano. But anyhow,
Did you do that?
no, I didn't do that.
That would be bad.
I would never do that. But no,
Chris
he's
is staring at
I mean,
Jeremy like,
so-
I'm not sure
No,
whether or
this
not
is-
you're
yeah,
telling
a
the
bike
truth.
shop.
a lot of things can be.
Granted, I grabbed the
actually me.
wrong pair of shoes and tried to fit my Keo
I've
cleats
done that
into
too,
my
yeah.
Yeah, that just doesn't work well.
When you have too many pairs of shoes and too many
Yeah.
different cleats,
I
it's
have
like,
7 pairs of shoes. But before we get into that, you're right. Bike fitting. So if you're having butt problems, I don't care if you're a beginner or you're a pro.
well, not just butt, knee, hip.
Well, yeah, but I was starting with the butt because I like the butt.
Hey-o.
But no, don't overlook bike shorts. Definitely get chamois butter. Try that first and get a good bike fit.
And give it some time.
Give it time. Yeah, that's
Hey,
true.
you
You got to
gotta-
break in the bottom.
You
If you-
gotta build that callus, as we've found out Chris has.
Well, the biggest thing though when you're first starting out riding is if you have the option to not wear cotton shorts, that'll make
Yeah,
your comfort
that'll really
help.
help.
Don't
yeah.
ever wear cotton. It's the most stinkiest, grossest material
that's
to
just
wear
gonna
when you
absorb
exercise.
all
There
of
goes
this
another
stuff.
sponsor.
Yeah, great. Now,
Cotton industry's
now we're not
going
getting the
Chris
cotton
going.
with us.
No, what are some other good things for beginners, though? What are some of the biggest complaints that beginners have in cycling?
Oh, I think Chris hit it though. It's the butt.
The butt.
The
yes.
butt. The shoulders is another thing, and again, that goes
It
to
starts with the head and the shoulders.
Knees and
Knees and
toes.
toes.
Knees and toes, yes.
so shoulders, and a proper bike. Stop. A proper bike fit is definitely really.
But so now, as proper bike fit goes, one of my kind of keys is that if someone wants to have a bike fit and they just bought a bike and they just started riding, I'm going to require that they ride their bike. We'll get them to a position that works, but require them to ride their bike for about a month. Because through a bike fit, you can make all these different adjustments, but there's so much that I can say that you should be doing this, but I don't know enough about how your body moves, how your body feels, how it works to make that proper adjustment. I've had people with, injuries from 10 years ago where, yeah, their shoulders didn't move as well, so we had to compensate for that. And these little adjustments that need to be made that I, as a bike fitter, can't just say on a piece of paper, this is what
You
is
mean
best
bike
for you.
fitters aren't gods? You shall ride this way!
Yeah, there's the mathematical way to do it, and there's also the fit and feel and take some time and do it right.
And
So there's the nature versus the nurture approach for
Effectively,
bike
yes.
fit.
yeah, no, that's right though, because it's got to be at least a couple 100 miles. Because I know the first time that I got onto a road bike, man, I felt like I was craning over and my head was between my legs.
You're also riding a bike that was 3 times too
well,
big
no,
for you.
this was one that
No,
wasn't.
this one's a little
this
bit
was-
too
yeah.
This is the one that you
A
sold.
little too. Oh no, it's the one that I gave him.
Yeah, he gave me a bike. But no, that was a big part of it, though, is, when you first start, that back bending over and feeling those muscles stretch, it becomes natural 30, 50, 70 miles later. So if you fit somebody too early, it's not really setting up where they're going to be. I've seen people come in with just a huge arched back. And then next week it's nice and flat and their arms are bent. And I'm like, dear God, what happened? You grew up. I'm so proud of my boy.
Or girl.
But yeah, bike fit is absolutely paramount in terms of being comfortable on the bike. A lot of beginner riders also talk about complaints with hand pain and hand pressure, hands going numb as well. From a bike fit perspective, a lot of that is, your body's not meant to have your weight resting on your hands on a small, tiny handlebar. So you want to find that position where you're able to, manipulate the handles, have good grip there, but not putting your weight and putting your pressure onto your hands.
Actually, that's one thing I get a lot from a lot of my coworkers. They go, your upper body must be so strong because you're holding yourself up the whole time. It's like, guys,
Have you seen
have
my
you
upper body?
have you ever seen a professional cyclist? My wrist is larger than their biceps.
That was the perfect time just to rip your shirt off and go, you're really sure about that?
For our audio podcast. You ate a lot of glue as a child, didn't you?
So let's talk about Matt Damon.
Wrong podcast, Jeremy.
No, he loves cycling. It says right here on Google, according to ilovebicycling.com. Matt Damon, that's like the greatest source ever. You can't not trust ilovecycling.com.
What?
Oh, damn, I don't even know.
One of my favorite questions that I get is, how much pressure should I put in my tires?
All of it.
And well, it's a fair question.
42 furlong fucking, boy.
So we're going to talk about pressure in PSI or bar?
Bar. The bar.
Obviously bar.
Bar. Got to
I
do
just-
bar. Everyone likes
No,
the bar.
you don't have a bike bar, so you can't talk about bars.
We could talk about tours. You want to do it in tours?
We could do tour. We could do ATMs.
Yeah, let's do ATM.
It's a simple thing. Everyone asks how much
Pascals?
pressure. I would say look at your darn tire first because
And
all
that's the
tires
big
are
thing.
different.
Mhm.
I always thought that was kind of ironic because it's usually people who are already driving a car who know to check the pressure base because it'll be on the tire saying what's the max pressure. But it just escapes them to maybe it's on the bike tire too.
It is. Well,
But
the
it
thing
is.
that you should think of is if you look at the max pressure, you really don't want to go above that. Not too much. They might have built in some engineering plateau above that, but it's not a great idea to have
the max is
150
probably like 10%
PSI,
below
yeah.
what it can actually handle.
But
So-
if you go with that, it's going to be a super rough ride.
Yes.
So
Just
what would
hands
you
down.
say? Where do you start?
Well, so we got to qualify this because there's different kinds of bikes with
Let's
different kinds
say
of
a
tire
hybrid.
pressures.
No, let's talk about. We're talking about beginners right now.
Yeah.
So let's say you've got whatever bike you have. It could be hybrid, could be a road bike. could be
So,
anything.
so what my recommendation is going to be for anyone that's starting. So yeah, that max tire pressure, that's the limit. You certainly do not want to go above that. But yeah, normally for like a road bike, most commonly riders are going to ride between 90 to 100, 105 PSI. But also me saying this and you are actively out there on your bike, you're the best one to understand which tire pressure is going to be best for you.
Well, that's true. I know
So
for
test
me, you run max pressure, you feel like you're a speed demon,
Bone shaking.
but you're just beaten up by the end of the
All
ride.
your joints are just being pounded
So-
into dust.
I would recommend that who's ever listening to this that wants to test out their tire pressure to, put it at the max and go ride for 5 minutes.
Aim for a pothole.
Don't aim for potholes.
Okay.
What kind of advice?
Once you get home,
We don't have that insurance company set up yet, Greg. You can't cause people to crash yet.
You're right.
once you're done with that 5 minute ride, drop it by 10%. And so
Yeah.
if it's at 100, if that's the max, now we're down to 90.
Well,
And
I
go
always,
ride
I always
another-
feel like it's a much smoother ride, but you do get more rolling resistance.
No.
See, that's the misconception. Everyone thinks you lower it from the top and it becomes suddenly a huge rolling resistance. That's not always true.
Are we going to dive way into physics right now?
You get not into physics. Why don't you dive into what they learned with tires going from, say, 23s to 28s, and they've been lowering pressures?
It's physics. That's what we're talking about now then. Because the larger tire with a higher volume of air at a lower pressure is able to ride more smoothly across the small rocks, little bumps and everything. So it's going through it as opposed to over it.
I know from physics, objects can't go through other objects. That's like a weird Fantastic Four thing, Chris.
They can go through objects. It just doesn't bode well for one of the objects.
I tried running through an object. It doesn't work very well.
Through it, yes, that's the most functional term to use.
Well, it's kind of true. The rock would go up into the tire, so they're
Get
almost
absorbed by
they're
the tire as
cohabiting
opposed
at
to
that
being
point.
bounced. The tire bouncing over the rock.
I saw you drift a road bike through gravel. Matter of fact, I'll see if I can attach
really
that to
easy
the
to
show
do.
notes. Like things are just flying through the air in slow motion. I was so proud of myself for getting a phone that could like shoot slow, and I was so
No,
happy.
you didn't actually shoot in slow motion. He was just doing it so impressively that physics actually slowed down.
gracefully.
No, it's how he looks. He just turns, like gives the what was it? Not Zoolander. What was that male model? It was a
It was
Zoolander.
Zoolander.
Yeah, he
Or
like gives
Hansel.
a
Blue
pose.
Steel.
Yeah, just gives a pose, and then the hill just slowly slides down for him. But
All
anyhow,
of creation was just like, whoa.
But there is a caveat, though. There is a place where pressure can go too low.
Yep. And so, yeah, too low, you'll get to where you will pinch your tire. And that's when as you hit a pothole or really kind of any kind of riding where it's too low, the tire can contact from the exterior tire can contact the rim itself. And then that creates a small snake bite puncture, just 2 holes there corresponding where that pinch was.
It just looked like he was doing Cobra Kai karate. Like creating and doing a sock puppet motion with fangs. It was great.
And so, yeah,
But
so
I mean,
that's the too low mark.
and you know what it looks like because it's when you've left your bike in the garage or the shed all winter, and it's spring, and you're like, I'm gonna go for a bike ride, and you see that it's a really sad looking tire.
And now that with everyone listening to this, that you've been really focusing on your tire pressure, you can get on the bike and kind of start to feel that difference from that max PSI down to that 10 to 20% lower. You can definitely feel that difference.
Have they been riding since we talked about it 3
I
minutes
hope
ago?
so. Well, I said
How's
5
your
minute
ride
laps.
going, by the way?
So we're at 5, 10. We should be at 10 minutes when we're talking about this now, where they've gone from 10% down now to 20% down. They can get on that bike and feel the difference from what it was.
You know what? I bet that's exactly what all of our listeners
I'm
are
sure
doing
they
right
are.
now.
I'm sure everyone who is listening to this and driving their car
They turned around, they went home.
paused it, ran home,
Grab their bag.
called work, say,
No,
hey, I can't come into work right
They
now.
didn't
because
we didn't tell them to. First, you should tell people this is going to be a fun podcast. Grab your bicycle. We didn't give them any instructions, so we can't assume that.
Well, I'll talk to the producer. We'll see if we can do that.
But no, I'd say so. Now, my background, I worked in a bike shop. I managed a bike shop for a while. Chris TC here has done that too. Mark, you did that as well. What percentage of flat fixes did you see coming in that were actual punctures of debris versus the pinch flat, the snake bite, the Cobra Kai?
The Cobra Kai.
Which, by the way, can we make that an official thing?
No, because YouTube owns it, and we're going to be on YouTube for our podcast. So we can't steal intellectual property from other people that are going to be spreading our property.
There was a lot more. There was a lot more snake bites that came in to the shop versus actual punctures from
most.
everything else. Well, here's the biggest thing is that when I explained them the issue to the customer, they look at me and they go, "Oh, I have to put air in my tire every year, every time I ride."
Year?
Yes, you don't pump it up once and let it go.
Well, that's the greatest takeaway from this is, yes, most of them coming in were always pinch flats. And you're talking $7, $8, $10 for a tube, probably $15 for an install. I mean, you're spending $25 because you didn't have a pump by your door. And I don't mean that to sound shameful. I always have a pump where my garage exit is and where my front door is, because if you pump up every time, your likelihood of getting those flats goes away.
Yeah.
I've gone an entire year without flats just because I keep checking the damn
Aren't
tire.
you special?
I am. Thanks for noticing.
Mister, I'm going to tour across America. Yeah, you better take one tube. Just one tube to cross America.
I'm going to just bring
Let's
No, you're
not
good at it.
forget-
You're awesome at it.
I'm
You
going to
can-
just do
Let's
a
not
patch
forget
kit.
that I toured across America.
But
and
no,
had no
you're
flats.
awesomely like
I had no
special,
flats.
like weird bicycle
I
model
didn't need
slow
a tube.
motion
I didn't need
man.
a patch kit. I didn't need the spare tire that I had.
Yeah,
But I had
see.
all of those things.
Yeah, well,
Spokes.
I had spare spokes too.
he did have special.
Yeah. For the
to
wheels.
defend himself from bears.
Well, also for, just in case Jeremy decided to drop a tripod into my spokes.
Oh wait, no,
that was later when you destroyed that wheel.
Yeah. If you guys haven't noticed yet, I tend to make weird things happen in my life. I don't know why. But yeah, so that's number one takeaway for beginners. We're going to move on to some other topics that really definitely have a pump up every time you go. Don't just finger pinch, because you know what? You get 40 miles in or even 10 miles in, even 2 miles in, you hit that hard bump and it's going to destroy your tube.
And there's nothing worse than going around the forest preserve and realizing you now have a 3-mile hike ahead of you.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, too, though, is I think that anyone riding a bicycle, just like my grandfather used to say, you should always learn how to change your tire on your car. You should know how to change a tube, but it is very simple, actually.
So when you do get a flat, what do you do? If you can't change it, do you continue to
I
ride?
don't worry, I call the car X.
Do you ride on the flattened out tire and rim?
No.
No, because you can damage the rim, and you will damage the
And now
rim,
you-
and then you
what
will
was
have to
it?
replace the rim as well.
What
which
was a
is
$10 fix at most has now gotten very
about
expensive.
$100.
Yeah, so just don't do that for sure.
Yeah.
So we're
when
going to
you
move on to a new topic. Are you ready?
get- Yeah. What you got?
It's going to be a random one from Greg. What is
Oh.
it?
Actually, eating before a ride. A lot of beginners, because I've had people show up to some of our group rides who
Don't
eat
eat.
ahead of time at all, and they go, "I'm really hungry. I don't have the energy to finish." And it's like,
Don't have the energy to start.
Did you eat anything this morning? I had my coffee. I was like, okay, but you need to at least have had a piece of toast or something. You got to fuel up. Your body's been hungry for 12 hours already because you slept all night.
So
mean
you've seen The
coffee's not
Office,
food?
right? when Michael Scott just sets his carb load before the run. And
Oh,
eats an
just
entire bowl of
plates of
fettuccine Alfredo.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. No, it's
do
better.
that.
No. I'm talking like just get a piece of bread, put some peanut butter on it, or jelly, or both. Whatever. Go
I like
crazy.
you're teaching people how to eat. There are things
So-
you can put in your mouth that are
do you
safe
put the
with
peanut
Greg.
butter on the bread first, or you put the jelly on first?
You put the lime.
Because how do you make that peanut butter and jelly? It's difficult.
I got a lot of strong opinions when it
Oh,
comes to
okay.
peanut
Well-
butter and jelly. We could do an entire episode.
So
just
wait,
on
no.
that.
Here are some cool
but,
facts,
but
though.
the thing is, a lot of people just show up and they don't know that they needed to fuel themselves up, and then they don't realize why they're cramping later on or why they're having a bad experience.
Well, I
on
see
their
that
bike.
with pros too. I mean, I see guys that have shown up on these group rides like, "Oh, we're gonna fly today. Yeah, I haven't eaten," or like, but that's not the way to fuel before a race.
No.
Most of your hydration actually comes from the day before too, because the kidneys cannot process water quick. You can't just guzzle a gallon and say you're good to go.
So yeah, maintain your hydration.
Well, most Americans, they say, do not actually. They say like 75% of Americans are dehydrated naturally, just from our natural.
What
drinking
is it?
state.
You're supposed to drink 8.
eight glasses.
8 ounce glasses a day.
Oh,
That's
64
bare minimum.
ounces. Yeah,
That's
but no-
actually, I mean, from my opinion, that's not a lot of water.
well,
No, I agree with you.
but
Yeah.
a lot of people don't drink enough. They really don't. And
Yeah,
then
well,
a lot of cramping, electrolytes.
Yeah, cramming is electrolyte and hydration.
Well, yeah. So like the favorite thing I always hear about is people carry yellow mustard packets to suck down if they start cramping.
no.
They
It's
have
distracting.
pickle juice shots
Pickle
now.
juice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Hold on.
have the pickle juice.
My theory is the mustard works because it's distracting you because you're going, oh God, that
Why
was
am I doing
why did I do
this?"
this?
Hey, no.
And then
hey,
you've forgotten that your leg is cramped. Pickle juice is legit.
better
though.
than chamois butter.
Mustard's
Yes.
delicious.
But
I
no,
like
pickle
mustard,
juice is
but-
great, and it's because of the electrolytes. So something like a product that's not a sponsor, Noon, instead of none, since everyone hates my pronunciation.
Yeah,
or
it's 'cause
enunciation
it's
of
wrong.
things.
It's wrong.
Hey, I'm allowed to be wrong,
Like
okay?
Oregon.
It's America.
Polygon.
The Earth is flat, and that's why bicycles are great. Okay, no, that's not true.
It's true.
Or maybe it is.
Wait, are
You have your own
Hold on.
opinions.
Are bicycles great or is the Earth flat? I want to get clarity on this one.
One of the two.
Okay.
Okay, so no, but pickle juice. So if you take probably like Noon, for example, that has what potassium, sodium, all your regular electrolytes, that will not only cut down your ability to cramp or how much you cramp, it will help. Pickle juice though is like an instant shot. I saw somebody with a Charlie horse that was like twitching. It was the grossest thing in the world. Yeah, pickle juice actually worked in like 2 minutes or
Chilled them out,
less.
yeah.
It was pretty amazing.
Really?
Oh, in the middle of winter, I'll keep a couple jars of pickles. I'll be eating the
Why
pickles
does it have to be
all-
winter?
because I'm on the trainer.
Oh,
Oh, I thought it was a
I like
staple.
it. You can paint the picture
Well,
like an
I'm working on it.
an Arthur.
No,
author.
I'm describing
Arthur?
it like a Tarantino story. We're starting at the end, and we're going to get to the beginning, so it makes sense now.
Podcasts don't have backwards play buttons.
I'll talk to the producer.
Red Rum.
No, but
Ram.
I would finish up with eating the pickle, but I'd leave the jar and the juice in there, and my roommate would come over and be like, "I'm gonna toss these out." I was like, "Don't you dare!"
No, the funniest one is when he replaced one of those jars with urine. But never mind. I might have done
And
that when
garlic
it came
cloves.
away.
It was very weird.
Hey, that's how you get rid of the smell. So how did we get here? This is a good point.
It's a really good question.
No, electrolytes, pickle juice is awesome. Cramping is something you want to avoid, but most of your hydration comes from the day before. And if you fuel up, don't just slam a huge meal in the morning. And there's actually there's a lot of like counter research to the whole eating a plate of fettuccine Alfredo, like Michael Scott,
Yeah.
before a race. You want to be responsible with that, but also it's not just about eating it once. You don't want to have that huge insulin spike, and that's not just for diabetics. You really want to pace it out and build up over time. So let's talk about that. How do you fuel on a ride? Let's pick a ride that everyone wants to hit. Their first century ride, their first 100 miles. I've messed this up for a couple of mine before. How would you pace yourself, TC?
And so, yeah, mine was, nice early morning, like solid breakfast with, banana, oatmeal, kind of those kind of good
How
staples.
many hours before?
60 minutes, 90 minutes.
Okay, so really close.
Really close. Yeah. Well, I was getting up at, 5:30 or 6 a.m. for a 7 a.m. ride. So in that window.
Some people even go 3 hours before.
Well,
Yeah,
it all
I'm not
depends on the how you digest it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my body's pretty chill. And so, yeah, I can
course.
really
It's like
eat
a
whenever I
perfectly
want.
fueled machine is what he's saying.
Well,
I
mean,
can digest and ride simultaneously.
on bike tour when I would stop in the middle of my 40 miles in the day, eat 2 burritos, a large Coke and fries, and then just hop right back on the bike and have
So you
no
heard it here
problems.
first. So you have a good bike ride with grandma, eat 2 burritos right before the ride.
Yep, large Coke, cheese fries, all of those things too. You can get a milkshake in there too. It makes it even better.
No, because it brings everyone to the yard.
We really need to
Remember
have
shakes?
dinner before this.
So one of our friends who we met on bike tour literally had a milkshake at every stop.
Yes. He's
Dustin
diabetic
shakes.
now, I'm sure.
He is not. He's doing great.
Have you checked his blood sugar?
I
Can
haven't-
you
no,
say
I
that
have
with
not-
an actual
I have not checked
affinity
his
of
blood sugar because it's a few states away now.
It's a really long needle.
Coming soon, Chris's bike tour.
Chris goes house to house
But
pricking
so yeah,
people.
so for me and my
What's your
my
sugar?
first century ride was nice, healthy, relatively light breakfast. And then for me it's water. I have one water bottle, and then my other water bottle is full of like Gatorade or some kind of sugary
Not a
substance.
sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but their powdered Gatorade stuff makes life really easy. For a little bit of calories, a little bit of that the glucose spike. And then I had in my jersey pockets Cliff shot blocks.
Oh, I love the shot blocks. They don't get
Because
all
they are
sticky.
like candy. They are delicious. And that's one of the few things I'll
The
actually...
gummy ones?
Yeah.
The gummies.
Oh, those are terrible.
Why are they
What?
terrible?
I don't like
Is
them.
it,
They
is
don't
it the
melt.
texture?
They don't melt.
Some people don't like the texture.
No,
and
just
that's- I
because
understand.
on a hot ride, if leaving it also near your kidney, they just kind of.
You don't
My-
absorb through your skin
I know,
into your
but they
kidneys,
don't.
Greg.
Like
Oh,
I want
that'd
them
be
to stay
great.
dry
If
like a
that
gusher.
happened,
I don't.
because I
they
forget
just
to
get
eat most of the
messy.
time. So if I could just have them just absorb into my skin as I get too hot, that'd be perfect.
No, that is
product.
not how it works. But who here has had a actual fueling problem on a ride before?
Oh yeah.
How bad did you
All
crash?
of us.
What
Oh,
happened?
I crashed really
what
bad.
did you do? Explain your irresponsibility.
My irresponsibility is I didn't eat a proper breakfast.
What was it? Frosted Flakes? There.
No. Honestly, it was a
Okay.
Belgian waffle, thinking that
That's
was going to be
responsible.
enough. Yeah, well, it was a small
Belgians
one.
are very responsible.
Yeah, Belgian, yeah. And then throughout the day, I didn't fuel throughout the day, and I was climbing the last climb,
Oh,
seized up, and fell right over.
Oh, yes. You can actually lock. Did your leg lock up?
Leg locked right
Now,
up.
is there a term for that?
Leg lock?
Leg
Is it
lock?
called a, or is it
Leg
called
locks?
Bonking?
Oh,
Bonking.
bonking.
Bonking, yes.
I like it just mouths it randomly.
I know.
Say bonking.
I can't do it.
He was trying to hit the button to get the bonk thing to blink up
Yeah,
there.
we
but
don't
it
have a
just-
bonk light. We don't. But you could help us by joining our Patreon.
So
to
yeah,
get
for,
us a bonk
for the
light.
beginners who are listening, yeah. So in cycling, the specific term is bonking when
Oh,
you
the
do not
bonks.
fuel well and then just crash in epic fashion.
Literally crash.
Yeah.
But back to bonking, you'll know when you're about to hit it because you've reached hangry beforehand.
That's true.
Greg, what happened to you?
It was actually this year. I was at a gravel event in Southern Illinois, the Dirty South Roubaix. I may have imbibed a bit too much the night before.
Is that a word?
Sure, I feel like it is.
Why not?
We were at a brewery, all right. I can't be held responsible there, all right.
Your memory's foggy, man. I don't remember any of the dirty South.
But I was like, yeah, I had a lot of carbs last night, and I think I ate a lot because my stomach doesn't feel that good. So I think I did pretty good. And we're staying at a hotel, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have a waffle and one of these little microwaved omelet things, and I'll be good for the next 65 miles. And a couple of goo packets I brought that day.
Didn't work out.
No, but at about mile 30, my entire body was like, "Yeah, we're out of energy. We're not doing this anymore." And now I may have been hallucinating a little bit, but it felt like all my organs were taking a quick count, saying, "All right, which of one of you are going to get digested so we can finish this?"
Always start with the kidney. Always the kidney.
There's two of them.
There's two of them, yeah.
What about the liver? Liver regenerates pretty
Or
quick.
testicles.
Oh no, I can't. So many no's on that.
There's just so many different organs. There's duplicates of. I don't know what to tell you. I could have gone to ears, or eyeballs.
Well,
or-
it was
Are
even
those
worse.
actually organs, though?
No.
They're appendages.
Yep.
Your eyeballs are not appendages.
Well, ears are not organs.
Are they Oregons?
Oregon.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Mhm.
But yeah, in that event, I was like trying to pull out my phone while I'm riding, trying to see where the closest gas station was. It's like, I need a Snickers.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Those always carry more than you need, for sure. Because when you don't have it and there's no one around to give it to you, the only choice is like Bear Grylling it and going out and killing a snake and like drinking its insides or something.
Well, I should say this
We'll do
was
that.
Southern Illinois in like April, so there was
There-
no snakes yet.
No rattlesnakes down there?
No, actually, Southern Illinois is not known for its gratuitous amounts of rattlesnakes.
And what is it known for? Let's find more non-sponsors.
Not a Casey's, because there was no Casey's nearby for me to get my Snickers.
Oh, what was your favorite ever? So like okay, so there's different types of things. Centuries can be on roads, they can travel around, you can find gas stations for fueling. What is it called? Randonneering, is that right? Where it's just super long endurance, like, and you have to eat and find all your stuff along the way.
You're just eating out of, it's like bike tour, except
So
at the
when
end
are
of
you
the
going
day,
to do the
you're
Bear
gonna be in your
Grylls
car.
where you're not allowed to have a credit card and you have to kill or consume things from the actual world?
I don't think they make those competitions.
No, I think we're making it
Oh,
for
we're
Greg.
going to? Okay.
I want to see Greg try this.
Should we have all four of
When
us
it gets-
try this?
I think it'd be a
I
great
really like
challenge.
my odds in this one.
I will say I will put my money on you.
No, because what's going to happen is we're going to get attacked by a bear or something.
When
Greg and I have a bear plan.
when the three of us were bike touring in Washington State,
You mean Dodge
And I was-
Caravan touring and
I decided to
95
start
miles.
foraging.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys were kind of taken aback by that, and I was like, "Oh, these black bears are delicious."
Yeah, he was just randomly grabbing things up bushes.
They were right under a power line that had like lines that.
Wait,
He's
what's it?
still here, though.
No, wait, what's it called?
I will drink out of my shoe, but I will not eat plants that may have insecticide on
Wait,
them.
the other thing though is we did have a plan because on bike tours. So for you guys, I know some people that when you get into biking, someone's like, "I ride 15 miles to work." You're like, "That is one crazy person." It gets even crazier. There's 100 miles, 200. No, but on bike tour, we had a plan that should we ever encounter a bear, let's face it, between Greg and Jeremy here, we're not likely to escape the bear faster than TC here.
Well, to be fair, he's not going to outrun a bear.
No,
either.
so we had
But
a
also, we
plan.
were probably going to only see black bears.
No, but we had a plan. Since we knew we wouldn't be faster than TC, we had a plan that the moment we see a bear, we're just going to Nancy Kerrigan Chris in the leg,
We're gonna hit
wound
him with the pedal
instantly. Wound him instantly. Whether it's a threat or not, wound him so that the bear chooses. If the bear wants food, it's there for him.
But
The
you know, it'd be a
worst
black
part-
bear, and I would make friends with it. Obviously,
I know, he's naked, like rolling.
the worst part was we were
Big hugs.
I would start riding it and chase you guys down.
That would be terrifying, Greg
the
and I.
worst part was that we actually did carry a wrench with us
Yes.
on tour, and it was a very real
But
thing.
it was a secret
We
pact.
would get up in the morning from camp after when we finally did ride, and it was like, is
Is
today the
today
day that we break his ankle?
Is today we just snap him in the leg. But the thing is, though, that is the terrifying part because you're right. We would injure him. He'd be like, "Hey guys, what the?" And all of a sudden, we'd be running away like, "Yeah, high fives!" And then he'd just come running magically out of the forest, with no shirt on, like Putin, galloping on a black bear chasing us. That's
just
the
more-
luck of our problems here.
I'm just surely we shouldn't call him the majestic mountain
Shirley,
lion
don't
then.
call me Shirley.
because that's just going to reinforce the bears. Like, oh yeah, no, we're cool.
He's like totally the mountain.
I'm just
lion.
proud of the fact that as you and I were holding the wrench, looking at him while he was asleep in his hammock, he didn't wake up to see us bleary-eyed at 6 in the morning, thinking,
waiting to hit
looking
him.
forward to the day to
You
hit
say
him.
that at one point Jeremy woke up before me.
No, that's
You know that didn't
impossible.
happen.
That is definitely not true. But no, so bike touring, basically going point A to point B long distances, we had that plan though, that safety plan. That just shows you that bicycle friendships and cycling and activities can make such strong bonds, you're even willing to murder your friends in a pact. Is that the lesson?
That's exactly the lesson.
I mean,
we
great
learned.
lesson.
I mean, the healing factor between the three of us. Chris would
Clyde
lose an
and
arm and
Clyde.
he'd bounce right back
I
from it.
did have a large hole in my leg on that trip.
did? Oh my god.
Okay, so normally if you get severely injured, the first thing is you should not go on bike tour.
We were supposed to be talking about beginner facts.
No, we got past the beginners and we're moving on now.
To
but
the
no.
insanity?
Yes, because for example, like here's the thing. If you have a big laceration that required stitches, or say you can see your insides or your appendages, if you want to correct me,
yeah.
but you
And you
don't
can
go
always
out
see
into
your
the
appendages.
forest to live in the forest on bike tour and not shower and do those things. And you showed up with a hole in your leg.
Yep.
You have like 2% body fat. No, wait, 7 maybe?
Like 7.
Yeah, and we could see your fat.
Yeah.
Meaning it was so deep, we could see inside
Well,
you,
so-
your least precious mineral.
But where you and I were carrying tubes of chamois butter to get us through
I
that
had
tour,
tubes of Neosporin.
he had a tube of Neosporin, and I honestly believe you went through a tube a day
Close to it.
with how quickly that
I
was
was
healing.
dry heaving in the morning because his wound would be weeping. We'd be sitting there at the table and be going, Because he'd just be weeping. It would just drip down his leg.
Why didn't you get some flies and get some maggots? That would have saved it.
Yeah, that would have. I should. Yeah, I needed to blood. We didn't find any leeches. I was going to get some blood out of there.
We found the witch. We did a little prayer and burned something. It was fine. But bike touring can be an awesome time. We are getting very close to the end of the episode, so we have to get ready to rapid fire. Who wants to pick a topic that we talk on for no more than 6 minutes? Merc.
I'm out. I can't think of a good topic.
What's your favorite food on the bike, Mark?
Gummy bears.
Gummy bears?
Yeah,
Are we
especially
like-
Cliff Blocks.
Wait, those aren't gummy. Like they're not. Do you shape your Cliff Shop blocks into bears?
No, he's talking about the
Okay.
Haraba.
Sometimes.
I like his
Haraba.
pre-planned
like
Haraba.
Well, the Haraba, because they're
Haribo.
easy. And again, I have a child at home. So
I like you said again, you've never told our listeners
that is
this.
true.
You
I
should
have a-
know this.
I have a child at home, so
What?
she likes gummy bears. So I can just grab a snack bag, throw it in my
Now, are
bag.
we like
Mark's
Haribo
not
gummy
a virgin.
bears or like
once.
Sugar-free?
like Black Forest gummy bears?
Black
like what
Forest is
brand?
probably the best.
Okay, that's a preferred brand.
Yeah.
What about sour gummy bears?
Not on a ride.
Not so much.
Not on a
Okay.
ride. After a ride, they're good, but on the ride because they kind of make
They
you.
get jabbed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why not
That
the
lemon
worms?
pucker.
Why not the worms?
Sometimes it gets stuck in places.
You don't want to hit a bump and suddenly the thing is between your
Exactly.
esophagus and your teeth still.
In the epiglottis.
Thank you.
What is your,
Epiglottis.
another body part randomly?
Is that
Not-
an
is it an
appendage?
organ?
Is that an appendage or an organ?
Is it an organ?
It's an organ,
Is it?
technically.
Is it on the Oregon Trail? Oregon
Epiglottis.
Trail? Trail of Organs. Is
Tune in
it?
next
It's a
week
valve.
while we-
You know about
No.
valves.
Right
I
now.
do.
Look it up. All right, this is the speed round
Okay,
for
you guys
Surrey.
see that.
Wait, what
Okay.
is it? What is it? Epiglottis? Is
Yeah.
that it?
Oh god,
This is really how we were going to end the episode.
We need to
Siri.
show everyone the spelling
Stop
on this
talking or I can't talk to Siri.
Hey Siri.
Siri is the epiglottis in Oregon.
Here's what I found.
You didn't find anything. It just says the epiglottic is a flap in the throat.
one. Boom. Valve.
We don't
Boom.
even know if
Valve.
that's Oh, a flap is a valve suddenly. Okay.
Yes.
What
Yes,
is your
no.
favorite food on the bike?
I don't really eat. while
I
riding.
know. Yeah, that's why it's like 2% fat.
No. You missed
Uh,
it. He just admitted that it's photosynthesis.
Yes, that's what it is.
He just needs sunlight
But
with
no,
his water bottle and he's fine.
It would be actually the most life-saving thing I've ever found are the margarita flavor Cliff Shop blocks.
Oh, those are the
Um,
extra soda.
Because
All
when
right,
I was
suddenly I
riding
think I
through,
might like these.
when I was riding through Death Valley, because they have like 3 times the sodium and 2 times the potassium. So as you're sweating profusely, that does keep you alive.
I'm just picturing that one day I'm going to find him in my backyard with my deer just looking up at the porch and licking the side of my salt block. Oh, well,
But yeah,
good.
they're not the best flavor, but they save your life.
Oh, well, you were in like Death Valley with 100 degrees. Yeah, I can definitely imagine that.
Only 100. No, it's like 120.
Was that Kelvin?
way,
Fahrenheit?
No,
Should
like
we-
100 degrees is like a relatively normal temperature for people to ride in.
I mean,
Okay.
no matter what measurement unit you're
Semi-dangerous
using.
valley versus Death Valley. Yes. What is yours?
Humid or
Brian?
not humid?
Not.
What were the trail conditions that day?
How do you prefer your Death Valley? Not humid. Noted. Actually, I've got 2 favorites, but I got a favorite off the bike that is bike food, but I can't ever eat it on the bike because it's so messy. But the Honey Stinger wafer crackers.
Why can't you eat those on the bike?
Yeah, what's
because
wrong with you?
all the chocolate melts and it gets so messy.
Oh, you get the
And-
honey ones, not the chocolate
Yeah.
ones.
No. But this is the one with
Caramel's
the
better.
wafer and the sea
Stroop
salt on
waffles.
there, and the peanut butter in there. You haven't.
Peanut
we
butter.
had these at the. At
I
our
know.
last
Why
shop.
can't you just eat
can't-
on the bike?
And also, like,
those are
I
just
thought
too
you were going to
messy.
say something profound, like I really love eating like Olive Garden breadsticks, but I can't
No,
seem
when
to
I'm-
stick them in
no,
my
what-
mouth while I'm pedaling down the road.
No, when I'm on the bike, I just reach for the turkey stick that I've got in the backyard.
it's
A drumstick. Well, I have that too.
you have
I-
a turkey leg in your a bacon wrapped turkey leg in your
stick.
jersey?
Absolutely, you
That's
don't?
amazing.
we
Yeah, it's
don't
such a
know
good idea.
organs. We got turkey sticks over
yeah,
here.
you use the
Jeez.
drumstick, and then if you're in the middle of a race, you just take that thing and you throw it in the other guy's wheels, and hopefully you get a
No, you do it
advantage.
with a bike pump.
But I don't like my drumsticks full of bike pumps. It gets in my teeth.
So what's the other one?
No, literally, that was it. The
Turkey
drumstick.
leg?
He said 2 things. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was serious about the drumstick. You guys all look disappointed that it wasn't.
Well, that
something
you would
better.
take out another rider by throwing a bird carcass at him?
Not the
Yeah.
whole carcass. Turkeys are large. You can't-
Carcasses have rights. They're organs. Wait,
Well, they
bones
had.
are organs, right, Chris?
No. We're going to need to define what organs are for you.
So we're gonna send you back to high school so you can take health
Hey,
class.
all right.
Jeremy.
Hey,
And Jeremy,
Okay.
what food do you like on the bike?
I actually have a hard time with it because everything I eat tends to kill me, which is diabetes. So for nutritional value for electrolytes, I like Noon because it's like so low in sugar. It's awesome. The problem though is type 2. Your blood sugar is probably around 115 on a regular basis. Mine can be in the 300-400s for fun. So I have a lot more fuel naturally saved up in my blood than most. So for me, it's a shot block on a very set interval. So when they might say take 2 at a time, 3 times in a given period, I'll just take one like every 20 minutes, 30 minutes, trying to keep it as flatline as possible because I have so much fuel all the time. I can actually I've gotten almost through a metric century without eating because, you start the ride at like 300 blood sugar, shredding the veins, riding the water tubes, and then like having a gnarly ride, bro.
Wow.
So this is from someone who's never surfed or never...
But I know my organs. So anyhow, that is the end of episode 2. We love that you're listening to us once again. Find Crank Revolution Media on the YouTubes. You can find us wherever you find your podcasts. And we'll catch you next week. Any last thoughts?
Ride more bikes.
Keep the rubber side down.
Just wow.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Crank Revolution Podcast. We have group rides in Illinois every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Follow us on Facebook at Crank Revolution or search out Crank Revolution Group Rides on Facebook. Find us on YouTube at Crank Revolution Media. Make a difference in the bike outreach in your area. If you have questions that we can help you answer, reach out to us at crankrevolutioncycling@gmail.com. If for some crazy reason you want to support this amazing show, reach out to us on Patreon. See you next week.